What's up, and welcome back to Sweet the Podcast. It's me, your boys, your host, Red Clay Boy, part of Body, Limb. Let's get into it. This is the Psychology of Raceplay II. And I needed to do this because the Psychology of Raceplay, I had a guest on, Moray, and I know I get a lot of feedback on their position was unclear if they supported raceplay or not. And it kind of was like I didn't feel like I was giving, honestly, we being transparent, authentic answers to what I wanted to give in the discussion of race play and my experience, and not only that, but just explanation. And so for the Psychology of Race Play II, I'm going into just a lot of common questions that I get, a lot of things that I hear, a lot of thoughts, things that I thought, and the psychology behind it. And as we get straight into it, and we're going to define race play, and I do have notes because I want to keep it an even flow with this, okay? So we're going to define race play. What is race play? Race play is a consensual BDSM/kink practice where racial stereotypes, historical power dynamics, or racial taboos are eroticized. Whether it's your partner calling you nigger, it's a lot of things when it comes into race play that a lot of people probably don't consider race play, but I kind of do. Because when you start getting into anything that's relating to saying, oh, give me that big black cock, well, give me that milky white ass, give me that BBC, that's a big horse dick, anything you're labeling, any stereotypical slang terms or derogatory statements, or anything that may not seem derogatory, but it's a way of fetishization. I consider that race play. If you're only fucking black men, it's a racial thing there. It's not just you're gonna come up with some excuse of your preference of why you're only fucking black men. The contrast. Well, if you're going into contrast, it's a color thing. So, and then some people, I talk with my partner about this, and it's a discussion of color play. But I think that's just a little subsection of race play, you know? And the key distinction of race play and racism, it differs from racism because it is ideally negotiated, consensual, and mutually understood as role play. Now that's a yes. I say that yes, that is true, but also race play is a way, and we'll get deeper into that, but there are plenty of races that engage into race play. Consensually, yes, because some people may want the races. Some people may want the true degrading, the true, say if it's a black sub and a white dom, some black people want the real races, like the real MAGA, the real Trump supporter, the real people that are fucking legislation up, fucking changing laws to oppress, DEI rollbacks who literally support all this shit. And then there are other people, black people, subs, or tops, doms, switches, whatever in between, that don't support the true racism outside of race play. When it becomes into actual racism and things that are, you know, trying to find the right word for this. When it comes to actual racism and things that are actually not fucking segregating. What the fuck is the word? Restricting someone or fuck. It'll come to me somewhere down this episode. But some black people don't like that. Like they didn't vote for Trump, bitch, but they voted for Kamala. They still like to get called nigger, but they still know that their rights are on the line for such a time as this. So there's a differentiator there, okay? We'll get into the psychological motivations behind race play, and a lot of it is taboo transgressions. I'm trying to see who across the street. I see cars over here. Let's see what's going on. It's about taboo transgressions, the thrill of violating social norms similar to other taboos and kinks. And it's not just limited to race play, piss play, BDSM play, cum dumps, all of the things, age play, zoo shit, all of the things. And a lot of people like race play, and there's somebody I talked to about this, and it goes into the violating of social norms. And there are some people that I know, supporters that I have, that has contacted me, and like they don't want race play to become mainstream because they like the taboo of it. They like the I shouldn't be doing it of it. And that's what got me into a lot of it. I hate when motherfuckers trying to tell me what to do. Oddly enough, I joined the military, and I was in the Navy, so yeah, motherfuckers were telling me all to do a lot, and you know. So, but anyway, to this point, I hate people telling me what to do. And when you're telling me I shouldn't do something when it revolves around sexuality, what I should believe, what I should do, just because you're telling me I'm gonna go into it and probably do it just to rebel, you know, violating social norms because it's seeming weird, it seems taboo. So, bitch, well, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it, okay? That's some people just love it because it's bad. And that was one of the main factors for me too. When people tell me I shouldn't do something or I can't do something, and just because of these rules of engagement and in societal norms, I'm gonna most likely do it anyway. Now, when we get into power exchange, reenacting or reclaiming racialized power dynamics such as master and slave, colonizer and colonized. So we can get into that too. I'm more of a switch when it comes to race play and like that, or mainly because I'm a top, but I'll get fucked by my partner. And I've been fucked by people who weren't my partner, but I had to, you know, trust them, I guess. It was just so hot, I had to go in. But anyway, I like many dynamics of race play. Like, you can be the master, but I'm fucking you. You call me a nigger, king, field nigger, slave nigger, while I'm raping that white hoe. I'm all for that. I don't like the fucking, like the white masters think you're gonna tell me what to do. That's where it's be like, unless I want you to do that. I'm not the sub-slave. That's like, I'm like the overseer, the king, field nigger. That's what I am. That's what it is. And, yeah. So there's with the power exchange, catharsis and reclamation. And this is a big thing for me because it's very cathartic and it is a reclaiming for me. And it says that I wrote down in some research, because I'll be sharing more on the research of what I'm getting this information from, but some BIPOC individuals use it to process racial trauma by controlling narrative, and that's one of the main things that I do as well. I incorporate all this shit to control the narrative, to take back power, just like nigga, we already reclaimed that shit with our music. We changed from nigga to nigga's been nigga, because that's just how Southern people, nigga, you wanna get fucked over here, nigga? Huh? So it's always been nigga. Black people didn't change that shit to nigga. White people were saying that shit in fucking slavery time. It's just that southern accent, that southern drawl and shit. It made it nigga instead of nigger. But when they really want to emphasize this nigger. So it is a way of reclaiming it. And bitch and slut and fag and all this shit. We can reclaim it. Nigger is just harder for people to accept because it's such racial ties and such trauma embedded into a people. So it's a big thing, okay? So we can talk about that too. Point number 3, race play versus real world racism. Where's the damn line? And consent in context. That's number one, the consent in the context. Unlike racism, race play requires explicit negotiation and aftercare. Explicit negotiation and aftercare. Now that's where I think of a lot of the race play is lacking in negotiation, because a lot of people are afraid to admit they're into it, who are people who are not open about it. And say if you're engaging in a sexual entanglement, most people are not going to up front ask you, hey, are you into race play? If they are, or if you are, they're not going to have these negotiations up front. They kind of just slips in while it's happening, and they just test the water. That's how I started. I really never had negotiations beforehand, like years ago, before I started being like more cautious and safe with it and intentional, and for the lack of a better phrase, with it. I would just kind of ease it in and see how the person would react. And I normally could tell just by certain things that were said previously, or how we're engaging in sex, and I'll start off slow with certain words and certain phrases and shit, and then see how they react. And there were times I've been turned down. They said they weren't into it. I've been stopped, shocked, or gagged, or they've been gagged when I mentioned it. So it's that in negotiation and consent. So most of the time that's not done, which I think when you're bringing a little bit more awareness and being able to share what you're into and what you're open to, you can have these type of conversations openly before you're in the middle of the process, and then you shock, goop, and gag someone. But again, some people like that, because then everybody's not the same. Some people like that shock and ooh and surprise, and maybe they're wouldn't be into it if you asked them right up front, but while they're into the moment and they're liking the pleasure of getting hit by that big nigger dick, and then you call them, hey, you like this big nigger dick? Tell me you like this big nigger dick. And they're like, and then the dick is just making them gotta say, I have to say it because I want this big dick, I want it, what can I say? And all this is running through their head, and then they just say it because they just feel so good. So there's that as well. And aftercare is a serious thing, and most of the time there's always kind of a discussion after it, but I'm not sure if there's an aftercare when you're first doing it the way that I just explained, when you're kind of just popping it up on somebody in the middle of the act with no pre-negotiation or consent given. And there's like a discussion where, wow, that was intense, I've never done that before, or something like that. In the aftercare, you just need to confirm with somebody that you say you did give consent to, or you did negotiate the scene, or you did talk about this beforehand. Just the aftercare is basically showing that, hey, I still care about you, that was hot, that was fun. Know that these are things just role play, these are things that are very hot. Or if and then if you want to get deeper, we could, on another episode, maybe with the Psychology of Raceplay III, on tapping into that racism that is inherent, and not feeling ashamed of the inherent things lying there in the more dark areas and shadows. But I won't get into that today. Harm potential. Can it reinforce internalized racism or racial fetishization? The quick answer to that, yes, there is strong possibility for that to happen. Just being straight up. It takes wisdom, it takes critical thinking, it takes depth, it takes being able to walk and chew gum at the same time. It takes, because yes, it's gonna trigger things in the white person from white guilt to white pride and superiority. It's gonna trigger things in the black person that's triggering shame and then king-like, even if it's a white slut, white bitch wants to be degraded in that form. That is a form of race play, where it say that the Black New World Order. So, and then there's that we can get deeper into that. I'm gonna make a note right now that we're gonna get deeper into the Black New World Order, and we're gonna get deeper into white subs and things. But I'm just going through points right now. We'll come back to that, because that's another episode or a bonus episode of this that I'm not going to get into right there. But that's a question that I know that I'm going to get deeper into, so don't think I'm going to forget this. And the question that I'm repeating right now Can it reinforce internalized racism or racial fetishization? My quick answer to that was yes. And there are ways that if you do it right and you do it with enough awareness, negotiation, and discussion, it can help bring down some internalized racism. It can help you unpack what's going on there. I'll stop there. For the white person and for the black person as well, or Asian person, a Latin person, and trust me, every race can do race play, and I've done it with pretty much all of them. So we're gonna keep moving. Ethical concerns and criticisms. Reinforcing stereotypes. Does race play perpetuate harmful tropes even in consensual spaces? Well, everything can perpetuate a harmful scope by you doing bondage, and that could be perpetuating you doing like rape play, consent, non-consent, all these things, age play. All of these things could be perpetuating harmful tropes, especially daddy-son play and all these things. That's pedophilia right there. And I'm not shaming age play because I engage in age play, love the things, but all of these things root from a philia, a phobia, and all of the things. I'm sorry for clicking that pen. This my God. So, but if you, it's a matter of control. And you know, the thought of pedophilia, well, I think pedophilia is the actual act, but the thought of wanting to have sex with a kid or animal or whatever you're doing is not illegal. It's the act. So just put that in there somewhere in your pipe and smoke it, because again, I'm going to make a note for this, that we're going to discuss more about unpacking shadows and taboos and darkness into that. But I think if you do it right, consensually and honestly and openly with whoever you're doing with, or even within yourself, if you're unpacking yourself, like, what is this doing? How is this doing? How am I engaging this? Because everybody doesn't have the same destination. Everybody doesn't have the same viewpoint. Everybody doesn't have the same. Because again, there are lots of races who obviously love race play, but lots of races want to fuck niggers, and a lot of races want to get fucked by niggers. So they may come into this and saying that, hey, like undercover races. There are some proud races who will say it openly now because thanks to MAGA. But, you know, and there's a lot of trope there because so much we can get into. This has to be a part 3. But I'm going to move on. White dominance in BDSM. Are white participants engaging responsibly or fetishizing race? I think a lot of them are definitely fetishizing race. There's fetishization in everything. I mean, so we can get deeper into that, but yeah, there's definitely fetishization of race. There's definitely that going on. Another thought that just popped in my head pertaining to, are white participants engaging responsibly or fetishizing race? And of course, there's a yes to both of those. There are some I feel are doing their best to engage in race play responsibly, taking accountability, also being honest about their fetishization. I mean, it doesn't have to be separate. That's why I think a lot of things everything is not normally black and white. There's always a lot of gray area or yin and yang to things where you need to look on the outside and see there's duality. Because engaging responsibly maybe be acknowledging that you are fetishizing a race, and how can you learn to use that in a way that's not harmful, but conscious and aware enough to be consenting or negotiating or seeking consent to do your fetishization in as safe as possible and responsibly as possible and as honest as possible. And this is for the white people engaging in race play, and I guess that could be for any race, but you know, mainly this shit is about white and black. So that's what I'm touching on there. Okay? And I do want to highlight a point real quick. This is off the topic, but it's still on the topic. You DL niggas, I think I can't stand you the most. I know I don't. I can't stand black DL men the worst. And I'll say black men are some of the biggest perpetuators of white supremacy because they hold this ideology that it's a lot of this. That's a lot of ways to break that down too. And I'm gonna add that into the Black New World Order episode. So hold on, let me write this down. Black man, white supremacy, and throw DL in here too to encompass this in my Black New World Order. So yeah, I'm gonna come back with more. This is definitely gonna be part 3s and of the psychology of race play, because there's so much that I want to dive deep into and so much that I want to expound upon, and hopefully I can get guest kinksters, guest speakers, and to come in and give different perspectives and insight as well. Moving on, let's just want to see to close this out and round it out into a roundabout way. We can discuss navigating race play responsibly, and it's pretty much informed consent. The problem with that is, well, there's not a problem, but I think people need to be able to, even you don't have to announce to the world that you may be into certain kinks like this. But if this is something that you really, really like, something that you desire, something that you feel like, hey, hey, I'm curious about this, or maybe I want to explore this, and maybe you don't want everybody to know. You need to be able to have some sort of outlet, whether, I guess, you can find somebody online, because baiting, if you need to start there, finding people online, baiting, getting in communities, which I have communities under the Good Weirdos for you to connect with other like-minded kinksters of various kinks and fetishes, etc., etc. Basically, and discussing a lot of triggers. There's so many triggers to discuss when it's pertaining to race play. It can be obviously from the Black, African, and then see, now when I'm talking specifically about Black Americans, okay, and we can get into the Africans and Africans, Caribbeans, etc. But I have literature that's coming out. That's why I'm stumbling over my words here, because I don't know how much I need to release and say on this, but because I have something coming out that expound more on my thoughts around other races and their proximity and fetishization of race play, and their fetishization of the Black Americans' proximity to whiteness. So, yeah, I'm gonna leave it sitting right there for a moment. Yeah. And then when it comes to emotional safety, the historical weight of it, I think, and I'm gonna always have to expound deeper and more on this stuff, because it's constantly shifting, constantly growing. Of course, with more knowledge you receive, the more experience and all these things, your perspective may grow, whatever the hell ever. But the historical weight, especially now, since we damn near being pulled back into, I was finna say we're being pulled back into 1952, but then I was gonna say, we got voted back into because then Elon Musk could have rigged the election, which I'm probably sure he did. But I know America's racist in a lot to its core, but I don't know if they that. I see, it's a lot going on. A lot going on. So the historical weight is obvious and significant, because from slavery, from Emancipation Proclamation to Jim Crow to redlining to Civil Rights Act to mass incarcerations to DEI to all of the things, history and historical weight of fetish, well, it's always been a part of it. Sex and power, fetishization has always been a part of this whole thing from slavery. You think that's why the slave owners were fucking the slaves and having some of the slaves fuck them, and slaves were getting fucking, like, it's like they were fucking and beyond fucking. Some of the slaves liked to fuck it, some of the slaves, and it started then. Because are the slaves wrong for the, if a slave, say a slave master came and told this big mandingo nigga slave, hey, you gonna fuck me in the ass right now, nigga. And what if this motherfucking slave loved it? And what if the slave master started to really like, oh, I really love him more than just a slave nigger coon? And what if they start to relate and get into romantic intimacy, sneaking, of course, and they fall in love? Is that not real love because of their beginning? These are questions I'm asking. So that's just for this. I'm gonna discuss more on that later, because I want to keep going so much deeper into that, because that was a good scenario. Is it love? I say it is, because you never, yeah. I say it is, and then because I feel like black people automatically have a trauma of white people. Duh, they don't want you to date white because of many various reasons. Because and there are people that don't want you to date white. Say, if there are other black people, if you're black, that don't want you to date white because of the history of black and white relations, how white people treat and systemically and legislatively black people and people of color. They don't like it because they just don't have the flavor as niggas do. And there are black people that don't want you to date white because there's an enviousness, there's a jealousy there. Because that's something that they may desire and want, but hate themselves for desiring and wanting. And that goes a lot into, there's a lot of self-hate when it comes up into navigating race play responsibly. And then you have to unpack this shit with yourself first. You really have to and before you really honestly try to bring anyone else into this play. Because especially if you're white, you may want to navigate it. Well, you're going to need somebody black to navigate that with you. But black niggers and Latinos and Hispanics and Asians, Beaners and all, and Indians, all of you who are feeling that you like race play, feel a call to it, and want to explore more, curious, or you're into it, whatever level you are, race play aware, race play friendly, race play knowledgeable. You should be able to discuss this stuff openly, honestly, transparently with yourself first. And it will make navigating this and discussing consent and negotiating scenes and things like that with whoever you're with, your partner, intimate, hook up, whatever the fuck you're doing. So yeah, that's a amazing thing once you start to realize that you can go within first, and then it'll help you get emotional safety for playing in such a sensitive area when it comes to race relations, especially during these times now. So I'm trying to use my words real well right now, so just bear with me. More and more I can talk about how, and I have on here media and pop culture depictions of what race play would look like, and I mean, I'm trying to think of film that I've watched that made me think of race play. I mean, where they like, where they were like in a consensual kind of race play. I don't think I've ever seen that. It's not coming to me right now, and I hate that. I would hate for it to come to me after this. I'm done filming, and then it comes to me during editing, or if it does come to me now, during this episode I'll see it. But if not, I'll save it and write it down for part 3 of this. But I really don't think any media I've seen any media where there's been actual consensual race play or anything discussing consensuality. It's always been like you're getting raped, rape me. And so I'm trying, like, I've seen white people rape black, even sodomize them in film and TV. I'm trying to think, was there any niggers ever fucking a white person? They're like, oh, fuck me, nigger. Oh, fuck me. Have I seen it in film? Have I? Because I watch so much porn and do a lot of porn. And I'm a cinephile, definitely. And I'm thinking of like even the TV series like Oz and a lot of the slave films, or even like the American X or Bully or things like that, or shit like that. Even I'm trying to think. My mind is warping through, but I can't think of anything right now. It's only porn. And I'm not, and it's consensual because they're on film, and somebody signed agreements to have their likeness there, and so they consented to it. They were into it. It was filmed, so that to us it's consented because they had to get some documentation. Now if they looped around that's above me. I don't know what happened there and how that would what you do. But yeah, so I'm not saying that I'm not saying that it should be in media, that I'm looking for it to be in media or continue, but I mean, I don't see a lot of kinks like that in media. It's always a lot of subtle undertones. Like they make quick jabs in shows, and it's a lot of shows that do this shit that God, now my brain wants to put a whole fucking reel together of all the shows that I've seen. I know a lot of the shows from Family Guy, from Rick and Morty to the Harley Quinns, to a lot of the shows where they make subtle jokes pertaining to incest, pedophilia, scat, piss play, all these things. They do this. They make subtle little jokes, but I don't really hear about race play in a way of thinking. I hear all kinds of shit about animal fucking, incest, pedophilia jokes, and all that. But I never really hear shit on like a race play kind of offensive joke. And I would remember that. So it's very touchy. Cause I watch a lot of media. It's not coming to me. And if anybody out there knows and you see it, please send it to me. Let me know. Inform me. Let me know. Cause I would love to know. Okay. And I said on a lot of the other episodes of, I don't know if it was a Psychology of Raceplay, because the first one I did the video about the librarian, and that led to me discussing race play. And then the video before that, it was never like really a direct response to it, because a lot of people they were trying to cancel me that page that be going around calling everybody colorist, the colorist page. I think that's literally the title of the page. But anyway, yeah, personal experience with race play. People always ask me, when did it start for me? I've always had an attraction to everybody, but white boys too, but in white boys specifically, because it was just something about that I love the history of the relationship, the secret hidden thoughts and desires on both ends and fetishizations on both ends, and that hate there and that underlying tension is all of that, and then that just kind of just evolved into race play in different levels of me testing things out, me seeing certain things, me just exploring, me saying, hey, let me see how far I can push it. And when I told you, like Harlem Hookups, that was the first time I think I seen it. I know for sure, like when I seen a white boy getting fucked, telling him, fuck me, nigger. That changed that did amazing things for me in my psyche, to know that I didn't have to be a submissive to be a nigger. It's like when nigger, it's like kind of like bitch, but I kind of flipped it, and that's how it kind of went to my head in the beginning. But I had to. It's a lot, but it's kind of like flipped it to like the Mandingo side, like not the bitch side, but bitch, that nigger, fuck me, nigger. You're a fucking racist, big dick, nigger loving white motherfucker. So that kind of aspect fucking turns me on, grinds my fucking gears. And I do like lots of aspects of race play, lots of darker versions of race play. But for me, man, I don't like people telling me what to do. So that's why, like, and in the scene, I'll be the role overseer and of the other niggas, and I know I'm gonna be told what to do, but I ain't being told what to do. That's where it comes in with Django kind of style. Like, I ain't like these other niggas. I come and who that nigga up there on that nap? This nigga's up on that nap. So, yeah, and it's not. Yeah. See, I could let that sit there and be like, because I know that would cause a lot of commotion about what I just said, But then we're gonna save that for the Black New World Order episode. That's gonna be in the Psychology of Race Play Part 3. Okay, it just has to be. So, yeah. And that was me getting into a personal story. Then we'll discuss, and also in the Black New World Order, we're going to discuss how Black, Asian, and other POC perspectives on race play. And some see it as empowering, some see it as problematic. We're going to get definitely into that. But here's a final thought-provoking question. Can race play be fully separated from real-world racism, or does it always carry a socio-political weight? Okay, I'll read that properly. Can race play ever be fully separated from real-world racism, or does it always carry socio-political weight? So that's what I want to end this episode with here with the Psychology of Race Play II. And thank you so much for checking it out. I want you to check out the Pulse of the Wild. The ad just ran in the middle of the episode, and I want you to let us know what you think. Please visit wildshamanics.com. Please check out. That's if you want to know more about the retreats and new things we have coming up. Please check out the Good Weirdos on Twitter, the Instagram. Please follow the Good Weirdos here on YouTube or wherever you're watching this. Subscribe, like, share, comment, do the things of the things. If you like it, yeah, like, why I gotta tell y'all to do this? Y'all should want to do it. If you should want to spread the word. But I'm asking you, if that's what you need me to do, I'm asking you, please, could you please share? I can. So please do that for me, and I appreciate it. I appreciate everybody's support. I appreciate everybody's tuning in. I appreciate all of the feedback I've received before, and give me more feedback now. Tell me what you think about this. To ask questions, and I will gladly respond. If you're a kinkster out there, if you're a race player out there, you want to give me your feedback. You want to come on, you have questions for me to ask, but you're afraid to be seen on camera, we can work all that shit out. Okay? So just hit me up. It's me, your boy, Red Playboy, here. You know, we coming live right here from Atlanta now. So, New York, I love you. I'll be back up as soon as I can, but you know, I'm in Atlanta now. Next week, I will be hopefully coming up with something else real soon. Not part 3, but another something else. But thank y'all, and I love you. We out.